Hello, welcome to the LovenStamps studio. My name is Meg, and I am looking forward to sharing a project with you today that is not a card. Okay, so at this time of year, it's always fun to be thinking about what we're gifting people for the holidays. And I always am thinking, like, oh gosh, this person, I can't think of anything for them. So the answer in a lot of those cases is gifting cards. So not a card that you are sending to them, but cards that you are making for them to turn around and use. So how many people tell you like, oh my gosh, your cards are so beautiful. Like, have you thought about selling these? Or all those kinds of wonderful things. I save all your cards. They're on my refrigerator. I have them on the mantle. If people are telling you this, then your cards are amazing and you should gift them. So today's project is to make a box that you can easily put a set of cards in. I'm going to say you could easily put like, oh, I don't know, 6 or 7 embellished cards in here along with the envelopes. And so I'm going to show you our box today. It matches the Hobby Haven suite, which is the one that I'm featuring for November monthly tutorials. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is the Creative Haven dies and Creative Haven stamps. So here are those. And these are from the new November online release. My favorite part of this suite is, of course, the designer series papers that are oh so fun and remind us of all of the hobbies that we love and the things that we do to relax. And really, that is something that we could all use a little bit of a reminder for, right? Taking some time for self-care and to pay attention to our just being relaxed sometimes. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to switch my camera down and we're going to get started. I am, like I said, a huge fan of this project around the holidays. And there we go. I'm a huge fan of this project around the holidays. It doesn't take a lot of specialty supplies actually, and you could make it to coordinate with any suite that you want. I happen to be using the Hobby Haven pieces for this, and I'm going to use one die set that I haven't talked about yet, Nested Essentials. Sorry, I've talked about Nested Essentials a zillion times, just not in the Hobby Haven suite era here that I'm working on this month. So if you have this one, you're going to be super handy. There are a number of other dies that you can use in place of this one when we get to that part of our tutorial. So, all right, you can see my super fun chevron ribbon. We're going to set that aside. It's going to be handy. And then I have some cardstock cut here. The two pieces that you're going to want to know about first, we'll come back to all these. They have to do with our tag. I'm sorry. Sue says she's not feeling great. Hang in there, Sue. Hang in. So the two pieces of cardstock that you're going to want to create your box are 8 3/4 here by 8 inches tall here. Okay. And then the second one is going to be 8 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide. I'm like having a moment of like thought here. I feel like, is this really 5.5? Doesn't look 5. I did 5 inches on this one. Okay, let me consult my sample here for 1 second and decide if I really prefer the 5 inches. I do. Yeah, I'm going with 5 inches. Okay, so 8 3/4 inches by 8 and 5 inches by 8 inches for your second one. Okay, so if this box looks familiar, I actually shared it in a tutorial about I don't know, 5 years ago. So it's been a little while and I'm excited to bring it out again. But the first thing we're going to do is some scoring. And I'm going to pull out my Simply Scored board. I prefer this when I'm doing big parallel score lines because then I know that my lines will be straight sort of comparatively to each other. And that is just the easiest way to go. So I've got it set here with the, I'll put this over here so you can see, 8 3/4 line. And then I'm going to score it first at 1 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to score it 2 more times, one at 5 3/4 and one at 6 3/4. Okay, then I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it sideways and I'm going to score it at 1 inch and at 7 inches. Okay, so basically an inch from each end. Now, the scoring directions and so forth, I'm including everything in the video. So if you want to make this box, you can just watch the video, pause, go back, etc., etc. If you want a PDF of this to print, then you're going to want to get that as part of the LovenStamps Monthly Tutorials for November. You're going to place any size order in my online store in November, and you're going to get the tutorial, printable PDF tutorial for this project, along with the 3 coordinating cards that I'm making. If you're like, Meg, I can't order from you this month, that's fine. You can wait until next month, and starting December 1st-ish, the tutorial for this will be for sale in my LovenStamps Card Mart Etsy shop, and the link's in the video description for that. Okay. Now this is our piece that is 5 by 8 here, and I'm going to go ahead and score it an inch from this side, and then I'm going to score it again an inch from each other side at 1 7 inches. Okay. You guys got that? All right, then we're going to go ahead and put our scoreboard away. We're going to use another tool to do scoring a little later, but I'm going to use my trimmer for that, and I'll explain why when we get there, okay? So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to do some cutting. I'm going to cut up to the score line to make tabs here. I think that one didn't get quite there. And then I'm going to cut here. Now for most of these tabs, it doesn't really matter which side you do them on. I have one side that I like to cut the way I'm showing you because it gives us the tab that doesn't show from the front of the project when we're done. So, but you know, there's lots of flexibility. It's just a little different look if you do the other side. So what I'm saying is you can cut this line or you can cut this line. Just don't cut both, okay? All right. So if you guys are watching, make sure you say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have your Christmas shopping done, you can say that. If you're still thinking about ideas, you can think about that. Have you ever given cards as a gift? Hi, Joan. Have you ever given cards as a gift? If so, did you like put them in a bag, a cello bag? Did you make a box? Do you have any plans to give Christmas cards this season? I know you guys are super creative, so I always love to hear everyone else's ideas too. All right, so then I just basically folded on all of those score lines. If you haven't heard this before, if you're trying to decide which side you're supposed to fold on or to, when you score cardstock, you end up with like a little dimple on the front where you've just scored, right? So then on the back, you end up with a little bump. That's the pimple. So what I like to say to remind me which direction to go is you're going to show your dimples and hide your pimples. So your dimples are going to be on the outside, your pimples are going to be on the inside, okay? So if that helps you remember, show your dimples, hide your pimples. All right, now we're going to start gluing. Now this part matters a little bit too. It's really subtle. Again, you don't have to your box is still going to work even if you don't follow this direction. But if you do, you're going to be just that little bit happier. So what you want to do is you want to think about when you fold your tabs in and your piece up, where is the edge going to try to pull apart? So what's going to happen here is it's going to, if I put my adhesive here, then my tab is going to be a little bit loose. So what I want to do is put my adhesive up here at the top because that's going to hold everything in, okay? So I'm going to fold this here, and you can use multi-purpose liquid glue if you like. I'm using tear tape just right now because it kind of helps you to see where the adhesive is going. And then on the top of our box here, this is going to be our flap. Again, we're going to kind of think about this. So if I want this to be really anchored, I need the adhesive to be here on this part of the box. And actually, when I made my sample for this, I put it on the other part, and then I had to go back and try and add it because it was bugging me that it wasn't nice and sealed. So, all right, nobody's doing gifts. No one's ever given cards for a gift. I can't believe that. I'm feeling like we're not typing this morning. All right, so I'm going to peel those off now. And like I said, I've said many times, I like to assemble flat. So I have my box flat on the table when I do this. I can do this in the middle of the air like this, but that's how things get a little wonky. And so it's better to just keep it flat and bring the edges in and go ahead and adhere them. That way you know you're going to end up with things as square as possible, okay? All right, so now we have this sort of back of our box here that folds down like so and gives us sort of the tray that we're going to put stuff in. Oh, Cindy says she's never heard that saying before. Yes, well, I hope that it could brighten your day. All right. On the edge here, I might go ahead and take my snips and just clean this up a little bit. My scoring must have been off by a teeny tiny little margin, so I'm gonna clip that out. So got that. All right. There we go. Okay, so we have our tray, to so to speak, here. And now we're going to go ahead and do our overlay. So for this one, again, I'm going to think about where my adhesive tabs are going to show. And they're going to show right out here at the edge. So we'll just be super thorough to make sure that this one's covered on both sides. And I'm going to put adhesive at both corners. So peel this one off so that it covers. Oh, Sue said that she's given cards as a grab bag for a church luncheon. Oh, that's a fun idea. I bet they're super popular. We actually do a fundraiser at our church. It's been a little while for youth group activities where I donate a whole lot of past cards, and the kids in the youth group go ahead and bag them up 5 cards in a package, and then they sell them as a youth group fundraiser to pay for trips and stuff. Okay, so now this part is a little bit more specific. I'm going to give you a tip for this that will make everything go easier. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and put your box together. So I'm setting this on here like so. And now I'm going to wrap this around before I close these last tabs. Now, if you, again, I like to put it flat, so I have it flat on the bottom. If you don't put this around when you close this up, you could end up with a box top that doesn't really fit on your box. So this is where this part is coming in handy. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this around, get this nice and snugged up, and then I am going to go ahead and close this up. Now, I'm not attaching the top to the bottom, you'll notice. I'm just folding the sides here so that they're the right size, okay? So now I can take this out and go ahead and squish these to make sure they're really tightly done. Now, for the last part, I told you I'd tell you when I switch from the tear tape to multi-purpose glue, that would be now. Because I really like being able to just slide this down and stick it exactly where I want it. If I use tear tape, it's going to grab right when I put it on, and I'm not going to be able to move it. So that's the beauty of multi-purpose liquid glue. You can slide things on here. Oh, yay, Linda. Okay, Linda says, morning from Canada. She plans to send cards for gifts to those that will send them to family and friends. Yes, right? I love that. That is one of my favorites. So thanks, Linda. So if you're one of Linda's family and friends, you might be in good shape. You might get a set of cards for Christmas. All right, so now I'm going to take this. I've got this all on the inside, and I'm just going to slide this down onto our box here. And again, keeping it square, I'm going to just go ahead and press this all in so that everything is set. Okay, remember multi-purpose liquid glue doesn't dry instantly. It takes a second to grab, so we can hold our horses here for one moment to let this grab. And then the other thing you can do is you can reach down inside, and I don't have my bone folder handy, so I'm going to use the end of my take your pick tool. Can just smush down to make sure that is, sorry, as I put my head in the frame, make sure that is grabbing there at the bottom and here on the sides, okay? So the other part is I really like to make this be the outside, because then you're going to have just a little bit of seam that shows around the edge, and I like that seam to be on the back. Hi, Rosalie. Good to see you. All right. So now we have our box here almost finished. I have one more thing to do. So these little tabs here, you can leave as corners like this, or you can clip them off. And I am just going to kind of clip them freehand. And what is nice now is it's like the big crayon box, and then you can more easily, there you go, get that closed there. It doesn't grab quite as much, okay? So really simple. So this is sort of that big box. Raise your hand if the big box of 64 crayons was like your favorite thing about the first day of school every year. So we're making our own crayon box opening, which, I don't know, I guess the crayon box part of this makes me happy too. All right, so let's get to work on the next part. We want to make this pretty, and I'm going to show you a project at the end that's going to wow you. That's another version of this and done in foil. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let's make the top of our box here. I really wanted to have a piece across the front that decorates this flap here. But this is the paper here. This is the baking coffee version. And I wanted it to have a cool closure. Now, if you have one, Stampin' Up! In the past has carried border dies. If you've gotten those, you can use them. But as I was thinking about this, I thought, you know what? I bet that the nested essential dies, this largest die across here, would be a cool addition to this. So to give us kind of a fun shape here for the front of our box. So I like this, but it's not quite wide enough. So I'm going to show you a cool cutting trick to make this piece wider. So through the magic of television, I already have this one die cut. I love it because it has, can you see the little tiny holes on the side? Those are created by the die. It has this little texture to it. So it just adds that extra look to the edge of our flap, which is just a nice finish. So we're going to make this bigger though. And we're going to do that by adding a layer. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece of cardstock. Let's see, this one is 5.5 inches wide. And I'm going to give myself a good amount of space here at the bottom. Okay, like that. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Okay. So I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue because I want it to grab all across. And you'll understand why, because there's going to be a bend, a fold in this eventually, not yet. All right, so I'm leaving myself lots of space down here at the bottom, more than you think you need is sort of the safe way to go here. And I want this to be straight on our paper, okay? So now I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And the trimmer has a lot of kind of hidden hidden utility to it, I'll say. And what we're going to do is we want to make this line on the side here the same width all the way around. So I want my cutting, I'm figuring my cutting size here. Let's get our scoring blade out of the way. I'm figuring my cutting, and what I'm doing is I'm putting the edge of my cardstock right at the cutting track and then lining up my DSP there. So now I know that this particular line in my trimmer, let me bring it really close to you. So do you see how there's like a ridge line in the trimmer and my paper is lined up right to it? So what I'm going to do is go all the way around our label here, and I'm going to line up that ridge line on my trimmer. I'm not really measuring, I'm just using the ridge line as a guide, and I'm going to go all the way around here with the same ridge line and cut. And do you see how I'm making a border that is exactly the same? That one's already there because I cut it, I set it there to begin with. This one, I'm going to go a little past where I think I need to go. And then one last one. And again, I'm just lining up my DSP straight with my line in my trimmer. That one I think I messed up. So this one might be the top. Oh, I did mess it up. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to make the top match. So I'm going to do one more here. And let's see, what line did I accidentally use there? I accidentally used that line. So I'm going to line this one up here. So let me say you want to make sure you use the same line every time. There we go. Okay, now we have it even on the top and it'll be fine. All right, so how are we, oh, I better not put that away because I still need it. How are we going to attach this to our box? We are going to make this a flap that fits on the front like this, okay? And I want it to go kind of down here below the flap at the bottom. So I'm going to look at where that falls now. Now, if I had made this a little taller, it would have fallen all the way down to the bottom and covered up right there, but whatever. So I could either do this, or I think I'm going to leave it like this. So now I need a score line that goes across from corner to corner so that I can fold this up. And I am going to use my trimmer for this. Now, why not use my Simply Scored tool? Because with a Simply Scored tool, you can't line up as easily the top and bottom of whatever you're working on. So you get sort of a blank space in there. This one's a little bit easier to see what's going on when you need to go all the way across the paper. So I'm going to score a couple times here with this, and now I can see that score line on there, and I'm going to bend. So now you can see why I wanted to make sure I had good glue on the top layer here of our DSP, because I wanted to make sure that that stayed attached when I turned the top of our tag down. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to glue, stay away from the edge because you want to make sure you don't accidentally um, over glue the point, which, gosh, did I do it anyway, even though I just said not to? All right, and then again, I'm going to go ahead and do this flat. So I'm pressing down against my table. That's always a safe way to make sure you get things square and nicely adhered, okay? So now we have our crayon box with a cute little top, and we need a tag to put on this. So let's go ahead and close this up first so it'll stay. And I'm going to use my chevron ribbon, and it's a really thin ribbon, so I could just do one and tie it. But when I have a really thin ribbon like this, I love to sort of mass it up by doing extra wraps around. So you could do 2 or 3, whatever you're feeling at the moment. But now we have our really cute chevron box with the coordinating garden green ribbon and designer series paper. Of course, one of the great things about creating with Stampin' Up! Supplies. All right, now tag for this. So we have here our Creative Haven dies that go along with this suite. And we have our stamps here from all the elements. This is the Creative Haven coordinating. But for this month, I've been bringing in also the Banner Sayings stamp set and the coordinating 3 banner punch. So this one I think is going to be super duper popular. It's just so handy. So let's go ahead. We're going to use a saying from here. And as I was looking at this and thinking, I'm gifting cards, what would I send? I really like the consider yourself hugged greeting to go along with this tag. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And I'm going to go ahead, I'll stamp first. I'm going to use early espresso so we have a nice dark stamped image here. And I'm going to pop that on there. And then for our greeting, I'm going to go ahead and punch here with our triple banner punch. There we go. And I might even save that because it's easy to stamp on later. So there's our greeting. And now we need a tag to go with this. And fortunately, in our Creative Haven dies, these dies are outstanding. If you haven't added them to your collection yet, I highly recommend them. Whether you're getting the stamps or not, whether you're getting the suite or not, I love the tags, I love the shapes, and I love these little flourishes. So I think that we should cut some of these for our tag here from our garden green cardstock. And then we want our tag to really stand out. So we're going to go ahead and do early espresso for that. Okay. And through the magic of television, ta-da, I have all those pieces. So let's pop these back in so I don't accidentally misplace anything. And then let's talk about what we're doing for our tag. So this paper here has these fantastic little vignettes on it. So the chair and the plants like this, the chair and the plants, even this one, the chair and the plants are separated. But we can put them together. You could even put a little shelf on there, whatever you like. So I have sort of rough cut here a chair, and I have already fussy cut the plants out of this paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. We'll do this one together. In case you haven't seen me fussy cut before, I used to. I'm a reformed fussy cut disliker. How's that? I used to not like fussy cutting, but I found that the technique makes 100% of the difference. So my right hand does not move. That's my cutting hand. If you're left hand, you could reverse this. My right hand does not move. All it does is open and close the scissors. And even that barely happens. So it's kind of like just hanging out because I'm just closing really slowly. I'm not doing like little like do short cuts. I'm doing long, even cuts the whole length of my scissor blade almost. I don't use the tips. But then my left hand here is doing all of the turning work. And so what I get is a really nice tight cut that doesn't quite look like it's die cut, but it's close. I'm going to take it. So if you use the tips for fussy cutting, you'll find that you enjoy it much, much better. So now we have these fun elements here from our designer stories paper that we can put on our tag. So let's kind of set those up there like that. And then I want to go ahead and add our flourishes oh, yay. I'm glad it's on your list, Joan. I'm not sure. You're maybe talking about the triple banner or something like that, whichever one. And we're going to pop these under here. Okay. And so now what I'm doing when I pop these on is I'm looking at where I can put adhesive that will be hidden. So I'm going to move this out of the way and bring in my dimensionals. So I don't want to have to glue these. So I'm going to go ahead and stick them down with dimensionals. And usually I like to get one or two on each. So that's going to be hidden there. And this is going to pop down here. Let's see, could I get one more dimensional on there? Maybe. I'll do play it safe here and put the dimensional on the back of my plant. That way I know it'll fall in exactly the right spot. And hopefully it'll also catch my flourish. All right. Yep. Looks good. Okay. So we have our plant stuck down, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put our chair here also, like so. So there we have our elements, and we need to add our tag. Where did it go? That was the one I saved. Here's the one we stamped. We're going to pop this on kind of down here like so on top of our chair. So like that. All right, so now we have this really fun, fabulous tag, and we're going to pop this onto our box. Now, let's see. I might as well, I guess I'll untie it. You can also cheat. I'll show you the cheating way, okay? If you are like wanting this to be exactly right and you want to just cheat it, you can go ahead and stuff your ribbon end from your bow through your tag and just pop it on there like that and pretend that it is kind of set exactly on the ribbon. The other thing you can do is you can tie it in there, but we'll call that this for now. All right, so let's look at this box here. I have another one that's not all beautifully tied up because there is a good amount of space in here. And so I have our card from earlier. This one was from Tuesday, and we're gonna pop that in there. And then I have our cards from the episodes, Maker Mornings with Meg episodes before that. So these were the DSP, faux DSP 4x6 cards. So you can get these on my blog. Or again, this is one of the other tutorials that's included in the November LovenStamps Monthly Tutorials that you get for ordering from me. And we can pop these in here too. The other thing I have, so that's, you can kind of see that's 4, and those are pretty robust embellished cards. The other thing I have is from Backstage. So they did a very quick stamp together kind of project at Backstage. And so we made cards with the Hobby Haven paper. These use the backs of the paper, sort of the B side, without the hobbies on it to make these really simple cards for with a hexagon punch. This is a heartfelt hexagon punch. And it's just 4 hexagons, one with a greeting on it. This is the greeting that's actually from Creative Haven that we're using. And then envelopes to go with them. And then these I could pop in here too. So we have 4 cards in here already. There's 3 more. So that's 7 cards. The other envelopes would fit in there just fine. So here's it's a pretty, and it's a heavy box now with all those cards in it. So it's a pretty impressive little treat for somebody. And then of course you have your fun, like consider yourself hug tag to go with it. All right, let's see. I promised you another version of this box. This one is from a couple of years ago. And instead of making the box out of cardstock, this one's made out of foil. We had this pink foil, sort of pink, I was going to say rose gold, pink gold foil. Here is one that's done in red foil. So you can look and see what foil sheets you have in your element. Remember, it takes an 8 3/4 by 8 piece of foil, and then also a 5 by 8 piece of foil. So you're going to need more than one 12 by 12 sheet to get your whole thing out here. You could lower this, you could make it 4, but then I don't think that nope, you can't, because then it wouldn't cover anymore. Anyway, you can also do the back here that well, then you wouldn't have this be foiled. I don't know. I think you're just going to have to use the foil if you want to use the foil. It's a really pretty bonus. And this one, actually, you can see I didn't actually put the tag through. It's just stuck on the end of the ribbon. So anyway, whether you want to be super glitzy in your boxes or super organic looking in your boxes, there are lots of choices. This box is a really outstanding way to go. And if you're desperate for the box PDF right now, you can get just the box PDF for this version of the box. On my Etsy shop now at LovenStamps Card Mart, it includes a drawing of the boxes and the pieces that you need here. Otherwise, if you can want to go ahead and place your order with me, you'll get that for placing a November order with me. So, or you can wait until December 1st and then you'll get all of the Hobby Haven pieces from LovenStamps Card Mart. Hi, Jeffrey. Frosty, 25 degrees in New Hampshire. That is pretty chilly. I'd be here sitting in my chair enjoying indoors, which actually at my house does not include plants very much. But I would be sitting indoors and enjoying my hobbies for sure. Okay, I do have a couple more mailbag cards to share with you. And these are from my friend Rachel. And this one came a little bit ago, and I think I just never showed it. But these butterflies make me so happy. They're absolutely gorgeous. That's what I used on my LovenStamps calendar last year, was that butterfly die cut. And actually, I didn't use a die cut. I used the folder, now that I'm looking behind me there. And then I have another card. This one is from my fantastic friend Pat. And here is this one. So it's a matchbook design here that then included a really fun inside and a coffee treat, which I adore. But basically, this is a normal card, and you're just going to attach that 1 inch there and have it open like this. So it's a little different card opening, but same card size. So a really fun way to do this. I think actually this looks like maybe 1.25 inches, Pat. What did you? Let me tell you exactly. 1 inch and, yep, 1.25 inches. Super cute with a ribbon. It gives you a great place to tie a ribbon around a card. I love it. Thank you, Pat. And thanks for the coffee. I always appreciate it. So let's see. Did you guys want to see a little bit of the swag from backstage? I know this is the bag that we received. So I think I'll show it to you here. The theming for it was really fun. We got like a cool set of backstage pens. And then we had our name tags and a coordinating lanyard. This is one of my favorite lanyards that we've gotten from Stampin' Up. It's a really neat one. And then a notebook here with the sort of creative pages. I love that they put these pages in with no lines. They have these little dots. It just feels like a creative space to be writing on. And I'm really happy with it. I actually took my notes in a different notebook that I received from my dear friend. I don't have that one handy, but anyway, so there's my backstage notebook. And then we got these fun tote bags here. They're super heavy canvas with a closure on them. So I do love a bag that closes at the top. Here, let me show you this way. Okay, so here's our tote bag. There we go, like this. It's a really heavy bag, and it has I should know what this thing's called because I make them all the time when I sew. But it has a zipper, I don't know, zipper tab closure-y thing here. So you can zip up the top of your bag, like especially if you're traveling with it, like on an airplane or something. I like that one to be all there. Sue said the lanyard has orange on it, so of course I like it. You're right. That's totally me. And then here's a little denim tag, and I made those for a handful of stampers because it's always nice when you go to a conference like this, everyone has the same bag, and so to have one that has your name on it is fun. And just as an FYI, do you see that button on there? That's a Stampin' Up! Vintage button from back in the day when we had giant buttons like that. A gusset. Thanks, Sue. And then the letters are actually die cut. That's the party time alphabet that we have. I think it's on back order right now, but it'll be back soon, not to worry. It does cut fabric very beautifully. And then I use circle dies to cut the background on our denim and the scallops. Those are past, Stampin' Up! Dies. So, but yes, if you've been wondering, yes, you can use your fabric, use your Stampin' Up! Dies to cut your fabric. So depending on the kind of fabric, your mileage may vary. I actually use some old Biggs dies for the denim with the seam on it, but anyway, lots of possibilities. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Happy Happy pre-Friday, everybody. I can't believe this week has like zoomed along. And I hope that you have a great weekend, that you have some time for some creativity. And if you're looking for a project to be working on for the holidays, these would be a really awesome thing to add to your stamping collection. Jeffrey says, oh, you have lots of plants. Oh, I do love Christmas cactus. My mom always had, when we were growing up, always had Christmas cactus that would be so pretty and so forth. Let's see. Oh, fig tree. Nice. It's quite the set of plants. I don't know. I can't even talk about plants very well. My gardening style is basically to throw some perennials in the ground and let them fend for themselves. So the ones that make it are hey, they're happy, they're scrappy on their own. So I'm always impressed when people can do such a great job with their indoor gardens and their outdoor gardens. Linda asked, would they be selling bags? I do not know. Usually, I'm going to say usually they don't sell leftover bags from Stampin' Up! Events, but I don't know for sure, Linda. So with that being said, remember that next week, if you are looking for some great opportunities to get some things for the holidays, Stampin' Up! Is offering Black Friday from November 25th to December 1st. So that'll be starting next Tuesday. And I will be here for an episode of Maker More's with Meg on Tuesday. And so I'll talk more about that then. I would always appreciate when you shop with me. It helps me support my Maker More's with Meg videos and the LovenStamps Studios, which I very much appreciate. And let's see, also coming up, December 1st is going to be Cyber Monday, and Stampin' Up! Is going to run a special on Paper Pumpkin, prepaid subscriptions. So watch for more details about that. If you are around time to up your Paper Pumpkin subscription, that will be the great time to go ahead and do that. So I'll have more details about how you want to make that work when we get started in December. So. And if you are a LovenStamps demonstrator, don't forget that tonight we have our LovenStamps Zoom, our Stamp and Share night, and we have some new product to show. It will be a lot of fun. So check your email for that invitation if you're part of the LovenStamps demonstrator family, and also the LovenStamps Facebook page. So if you're not and you are interested in becoming a demonstrator, I would always love to help you get started. Just let me know. You can look at the LovenStamps website, lovenstamps.com for details, or reach out to me and I'd be happy to answer questions. So hope you guys are having a great day, that you're excited for your week to be over, and that you have fun plans for the weekend. So happy stamping, everyone, and we'll see you next week.